What is up, guys, and welcome to the South Coast. On today's video we're going to go over my weekly maintenance routine on the bad boy Maverick. Y'all come along and check it out. Alright guys, so first things first, I try to scrape the underside of the deck every so often. So it's actually been a couple weeks since I've scraped the deck. As you can see, we got some buildup here. There's some buildup in other areas underneath the deck. You want to get this deck scraped every now and again. Make sure you're not getting a bunch of buildup, a bunch of stuff stuck to the underside of your deck, because that will cause a number of issues. One, it'll prematurely rust out the metal of your deck, and two, it'll cause issues with airflow, basically making your deck less efficient at pulling those grass blades up and discharging the clippings out the side. So you gotta make sure you keep your deck scraped every so often. I don't necessarily do this every week or every time I cut, but it's definitely good to get it done at least every 2 or 3 cuts. So I'll get you set up. We'll get this deck scraped. Alright, now that the deck is scraped, next thing I like to check is the air filter. So on these mowers, well, pretty much any mower, the quickest way to tear up the engine is to let the real fine dust and dirt and grit get into the engine. It'll wear out those piston rings, it'll wear out the cylinder. It's not good to let it get in your engine. So you got to keep your air filter clean. So let's take a look at the air filter. It's probably time to clean it. Alright guys, here's a quick tip for you. While you're waiting on that outer element to dry, go ahead and put it up where the key is so you don't accidentally start the mower without that air filter on there. And go ahead and put your internal element back in the housing just so nothing will get up into the intake or into the filter while you're waiting on that foam outer element to dry. I'll leave that unlatched. I'll leave the foam element up on the key until it's dry, then I'll put it all back together and then I'll be ready to go. Alright, while we're waiting on that filter to dry, I like to go through, flip the seat up, flip the footboard up, take out any dirt, sticks, grass, anything I can pull out of there, make sure everything stays clean. Alright guys, this outer element is good and dry now. We're going to go ahead and put it back on, fire the mower up, back it down off of the ramps, and then we'll check the oil. Alright, now you can see just how much stuff was trapped, stuck to the bottom of the deck. It's probably been 3 or 4 weeks since I've scraped the deck. I should probably do it a little bit more often, try to not get to this point, but that's a bunch of junk. There's grass, dirt, mud that's just gotten stuck to the bottom of the deck over time. Hopefully this will help with some discharge efficiency, pulling that grass up into the blades to where we get a better uniform cut. I haven't really noticed any problems with the cut here lately. Since I did my deck leveling, it's been good so far, but it can always be better. So hopefully this will help that out. Anyway, let's go check the oil, make sure it looks good, and we'll finish this video up. All right, now that we're back on level ground, we can check this oil. It's right there at the low mark. I don't have any oil here at the house currently, but looks like I'll have to get some before next week. Top it off a little bit, we'll be good to go. Definitely check your oil every week. Probably you need to check it every time you cut. I don't know how often you guys are cutting, but I'm usually cutting once a week right now. So I like to check it once a week. It was a little bit above that. I sort of knew that it was my level was coming down over the past few weeks, but now it looks like it's about time to top it off. So we'll get that done next week before we cut again, but I think that's it for today's weekly maintenance. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for this week's video. That's going to do it for the weekly maintenance on the bad boy Maverick. I don't always hose it down and clean it up real good every time I cut. I don't do that every week, but I will occasionally hose it down, get it looking spick and span, ready to go. But you really don't need to do that every week. I don't think you do anyway. Maybe you enjoy doing that, but I try to limit the amount of times that I get everything soaking wet. Try to keep the mower as dry as I can. I'm usually cutting in midday or afternoon to avoid getting as much wet, sticky grass stuck to the underside of the deck. Obviously, from the pile that I scraped off the deck today, it's something that I need to do more often, but it is what it is. So, anyway, check the bottom side of your deck, scrape it if there's getting some buildup down there. Check your air filter often, clean it when it needs to be cleaned, and check your oil often. Like you could see in the video, I need to add a little bit of oil. I'm not below the low mark, but I'm sort of right there at it. So it's time to add a little bit of oil to the bad boy. I really hadn't seen it burning much oil. I hadn't really noticed it over the years of owning it. This will be the first year where I need to add a little bit of oil. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll be coming up on an oil change towards the end of this mowing season, so we'll worry about swapping the oil out, draining it, swapping filters, all that stuff later on down the road. But for now, we're going to top it off and we'll be good to go. Anyway, guys, as always, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down in the comment section if there's anything you do with your mower weekly, maintenance-wise, that I didn't do. Please let me know down in the comments. You know, there's another few items that I like to get done on the mower, but I don't necessarily do them every week. So if there's something that you do weekly, let me know down in the comments section. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. The channel is growing. It's growing a lot quicker than it was growing previously, so it's really cool to see all you guys out there subscribing, watching the videos, hitting that thumbs up, leaving me comments. Really appreciate all the feedback there. So, I think that's going to be it for this video. As always, I hope y'all have a good one. We'll catch you next time down here on the South Coast.